What's up? We are back with another episode. This shit is crazy. Um, I don't mean to cuss, but what can we do? Because when y'all hear what this story is actually about, y'all gonna agree with me. Y'all gonna say the same thing I just said. Y'all gonna say that shit is crazy. Because that's exactly what it is. So, basically, this is a story about betrayal. This is a story about torture. This is some fucked up shit. This is like somebody you trust wholeheartedly and they just backstab you in the most brutal way you can imagine. Like on some medieval crazy type stuff. But we're gonna get into the story. We're gonna get into it right now. So let's do it. So, like the title card said, this is the case of Benjamin Eastman. This is a crazy ass case, y'all. Y'all don't understand. Like, when I researched this case, I was just like, whoa. And the crazy thing is, I actually heard about it off of TikTok. So I was just sitting in the parking lot somewhere one day and I'm just chilling and this TikTok come on because you know I'm in murder mystery TikTok. You know I gotta be in murder mystery TikTok. So while I'm in murder mystery TikTok, I see this case pop up. It's just like this. It was like this innocent looking white kid. So I'm like, okay, I'm curious to know what happened. But basically, he's a 16-year-old kid, high school student. You know, the typical high school student. I guess he was friendly because his dad said he was a very social kid. We'll get more into that later. And basically, so you know, he played video games. Typical kid. He was like me, basically. When I was 16, I was the same way. But basically, what happens is he goes on a camping trip. Well, something that he thinks is a camping trip, because what it turns out to be is some sick stuff. Like sick. Like how do you even think of this? But we're gonna get into that. So he goes on this camping trip, quote unquote, because like I said, it wasn't a camping trip. So he gets okay. So he gets hit up by his friends. Basically, one of them was his best friend that he's known since a kid, since he was basically a kid. So that would be 16-year-old Benito Marquez, and then Benito Marquez had a older brother who was 21-year-old Jonathan Adamson. And the unusual part about this camping trip that I thought was weird, that I'm sure you know most people would think was weird, is that they text him around 3 a.m. randomly and was like, "Hey, let's go on a camping trip." I'm gonna say this again: the time that they wanted to do this, it just came to them. This idea just came to them around 3 a.m. to text him, "Let's go on a camping trip." Sketch. That's some bush. That sketch. Sketch.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
I had to go get some water, y'all. I felt like I was smacking in y'all ear with thirst. But basically, this weirdo over here in the hoodie, that's the best friend. That's Benito Marquez. So the boys, well, the brothers' plan was pretty sick, like I said, and they decided to execute it that night. So what they did was they lured him into the woods and they started assaulting him in the woods over and over and over. Literally kicking Benjamin repeatedly in the head over 100 times, killing him. Killing this man like you are stomping this man out. Like, try to picture yourself in that situation, getting like stomped on your head repeatedly. That's like a scary situation to be in if you really think about it. So he was murdered due to blunt force trauma. Like, this is wild. You kick a man in the head. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 40 times, not 50 times, not even 60 times. You kick a man in the head 100 times. Over. So it's not even 100. It's more than 100. Like, what is wrong with y'all? But guys, the crazy thing is, this isn't even the most sick stuff that they even did to this boy. Like, it get deeper than this. It's some deep rooted evil in these two men. Like, deep rooted. These are some sick ass people in the head. They're mental. They have issues. The wild thing is Benjamin was just having like a typical normal night. Like a typical normal night, like he would any other time. He was up playing Rocket League, which was his favorite game, and he was playing it with his dad. They basically played the whole night, which is how we got the timeline of him getting the text around 3 a.m. because that's around the time. That's the last time his dad noticed him, seen him. That's when they finished the game. So the next morning, his dad went into this room, but Benjamin wasn't there. So, his father didn't think nothing of it because, like I told you guys earlier, he's a sociable kid. He's well liked. So people, he might be. I mean, it's kind of weird, that your kid can, disappear at 3 in the morning and it's cool. But I mean, hey, they had that type of friendship. They had that type of bond. They had that type of father son relationship. So I can't knock it. I can't. Another reason why he didn't really trip too much was because it was a small town. The population was only 1,700. Like, 1,700 people. That's kind of small. His school is bigger than that. Like, okay. So the last thing on his mind was, someone hurting his son. It's a small town. Everybody knows each other. But his father went to the police and they eventually declared him missing on June 27th, 2018. And all these events happened on June 23rd. So basically it was a 4-day gap in between where his father actually got worried. So he ends up checking the cell phone records and he discovers that Benjamin had been in contact with his best friend. Of course, if it's your best friend, you're gonna be talking to him, if not every day, almost every day. And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna know where you are. By looking at the cell phone records, they were able to see that Benjamin was supposed to meet Marquez around 3 a.m. But Marquez claimed that he never showed up to the cabin trip, which we all know is a lie because earlier I said y'all stomped the man out like y'all freaking 100 times, bro. Like, so like I said, he said he didn't show up to the cabin trip, and to add insult to the injury, Marquez posted a missing flyer for Benjamin onto his Facebook page on June 28th, 2018, telling everyone with information to contact his father. Like, he wasn't the one who had all the information. Like, he wasn't the one who knows exactly what happened. But this is where he slipped up. Cause we know them feds be lurking on social media. People don't understand that the feds be lurking. Y'all be accepting all them friend requests, not knowing that the feds is lurking on y'all. But let's get back to this. So he posts this. This is the red flag that he hit. The red flag was that on the way that he posted his Facebook message. So remember, Benjamin is his best friend. They've been best friends for years. They've been best friends going back to childhood, going back to around like kindergarten. They were best friends. But in the post, this is exactly what he said. He referred to him as like him. He didn't even use his name. He showed no emotion. And basically, that's where he slipped up by referring to him as him. And that's crazy that the cops and they could just look at a certain way that you use a word and realize that you are guilty. Like you're guilty about something just based off a word, the way you use a word, by him basically referring to his best friend as him, not using his name, not showing no emotion to in the post. He just, it basically backfired on him. He did add send prayers to the family, but to me that's kind of sick. Like, that's some evil ass shit. Like, you know what you did to the family. You know what you did to that boy. That boy didn't deserve that. And we're gonna talk more about that. But that same day that he issued that Facebook post, the feds came a knocking, and they said they issued basically a statement saying they were looking for Benito and his older brother. And the detectives basically received a tip about a shallow grave on a property belonging to Marquez's grandfather. So in other words, what we're seeing here is you guys probably buried him on your grandfather's property, but let's keep going. When questioned about the grave, Marquez proceeded to lie and say, like, empty grave was for his dog that he was going to bury. This is one grave. This is just one. Little did he know that the cops never stopped looking on the property, and later they found another shallow grave, and they marked it. They marked the shallow grave with a cross using sticks. Like, they were marking their spot. They marked basically where Benjamin's body was. And that's where they found Benjamin. He was in that shallow grave on the property. So the brothers ended up fleeing and was later arrested 125 miles on June 29th. So they had a nice little, trip, I guess you could say. They didn't get too far. They didn't get to enjoy themselves too long. About a day. So I hope they lived it up, little sick bastards. But like I said, according to documents during the trial, okay. We're gonna get into basically what he did, well, what they did to him. So it's gonna be a little graphic, a little gruesome to some, but we're gonna get into it. They threw him, basically lowered him into the woods. That was the plan the whole time. When they texted him at 3 in the morning, they knew that he was not going to come back alive. They knew they were going in there to kill him. They knew they were committing murder. So after knocking him on the ground, they kicked and threw stones at his head and body more than 100 times in a 45-minute time frame. So they did this thing slow. Like slow. they threw rocks. This is why I say it's like medieval. This is like some stoning. They basically stoned him and kicked him like this was some like a medieval execution. Like they did this in a 45-minute time frame. Adamson even stating, "We knew that he would not suspect that we were going to kill him, and we used that trust to our advantage, and that's exactly why." That's what I'm saying. You don't know who to trust. That is some crazy stuff. Like your best friend and his brother basically sat there, devised a plan to murder you, and they knew they were going to murder you, and they knew there was no way you would suspect it. Like they knew exactly what they're doing. This is crazy to me. And I hope this is crazy to y'all too. The way that the human mind just thinks and can be sick and can be like crazy just in general. Like, who thinks of this stuff? But I'm not even done. I'm not done. There's more. During the struggle, Benjamin actually managed to escape the car and lock himself inside. But they would end up being his downfall. He was basically sitting prey. He was sitting prey for them. Adamson was able to unlock the car, pull him out where they didn't beat him to death. But I ain't even. This is where I'm about to get to the part where I'm like, this is sick. Like y'all some weirdos. These are some weird dudes that ain't had lives and just I don't know what happened to them, but they got some issues. Now you got a creepy older brother who then, after murdering Benjamin, Adamson then goes gets a box cutter and slices his back open. Next, they found a stick, and while Marquez held his head and shoulders, Adamson pulled his pants down and used the stick to sexually assault his dead body, bro. What? Like, what? Like, that's just adding insult to injury. Like, he's already dead. You already tortured him. You already brutally murdered him. You already did the most for no reason because he never did anything to you. But you just wanted to just do crazy things to your best friend. So, like I said, they started sexually assaulting his body. After this, they got a large stone and forced it down on his head. So they pushed it down. They made sure it went down on his head, trying to make sure there was absolutely no chance or for survival. Like everything they already didn't do wasn't overkill. Like you guys did to him. Like if you like hated this man, like you've held a grudge, like you were jealous. Like were you guys jealous? It seemed like they were jealous, but let's continue. Then they stripped his clothes and burned them and burned his remains. And remember, we talked about that first grave. We talked about that second grave. They found him in the second grave. That's where they found his burnt remains. So basically, the reason why the boys had two different graves were they were afraid someone will find him in the first grave. So they took him and put him in another grave. So they buried him again. They moved the body. But then they mark it. That's what I don't understand. This is what I just don't get. Like, what? Then later, Basically, the police got the whole fam. The police came after the whole freaking family. They play no games.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Like I said, they went for the whole family. On July 10th, Kendra Adamson, the mother of both boys, was arrested on first degree of rendering criminal assistance due to her lying to detectives and delaying the investigation. So the boys could escape, bro. They had a whole plan. They even had an escape plan, and the mama was in on it too. What the hell? To make matters worse, she was actually there when they were burning his clothes, and it was her idea to move the body. What? This whole family is sick. This some like some you'll see on a scary movie, bro. This is some horror movie stuff. Like you don't expect real stuff like this to happen. So she was there when they were burning the clothes, and it was her idea to move the body, like I said, to the second location, which was Benito's grandfather's property. She faced up to 20 years in prison, but ended up taking a plea deal for 14 months if she testified against her sons. So then she decides to snitch on her sons after helping them. This is wild. So she got arrested on July 10th. And on July 11th, Emily Brown, which is Jonathan Addison's fiance, was also charged with 2 counts of rendering criminal assistance. She was able to make bail and was released to take care of her kids. Privilege. Benito, who was now 17 at the time of the trial, was sentenced to 34 years in prison for first degree murder, first degree assault, but due to him being a minor at the time of the murder, he could apply for early release after 20 years. That's crazy how the system works sometimes, bro. Like what? You you can murder a man in cold blood, do whatever you want to him, but if you're a certain age and a certain state, you can be free in 20 years. You just gotta spend 20 years in prison. Hey, I'm not saying 20 years ain't a long time, but I feel like a life for a life at that point. If you murder somebody, I feel like a life for a life. Hey, that's my political statement. So we ended up getting a lesser charge due to basically him cooperating with the police. So since he cooperated, he got lesser time. But his brother, whew, Jonathan, I don't know if he's my girlfriend right now. He might be my girlfriend. But Jonathan was sentenced to 563 months or nearly 47 years to life in prison for conviction for first degree murder, first degree rape, second degree kidnapping, and witness tampering in Edmondson's death. What? So he go into jail. Well, he in jail, been in jail. But he got convicted for first degree murder, first degree rape, second degree kidnapping, and witness tampering, and Edmund's death. All this is wild. This is just people's weird, bro. People are weird.
What was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason?
The story was wild, man. The story was wild. Honestly, when I saw it on TikTok, it didn't go into as much detail, of course, because TikTok is, I guess, family. But yeah, so it didn't go as in depth. So I didn't know as many bad like things happened to him, after like post mortem, So yeah, man, people weird. People weird. People got issues. It's kind of crazy. I wouldn't be surprised this was like made into a movie or something. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna get out of here. Um, if y'all have a topic that y'all want, y'all want me to look at, want me to, deep dive into, make a video about, just let me know. But I'm out of here. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. See y'all later. Hey.